Hello guys, and welcome back to another video. In today's video, I will be doing a guide video for the new dungeon, the Reeling Depths. So without further ado, let's jump right into this video. So this is the first boss, and the mechanics for this boss is really easy. All you need to do is DPS the boss, kill the adds, and cleanse your debuff. That's all there is to this fight. So after DPSing the boss will jump to mid and he'll spawn 2 adds. These adds will have a colored damage reduction shield that you can only remove with the correct CC skill. Now, while this is happening, you should see over your head a color. This color will tell you which one of the adds you can attack. If you try to attack the adds that doesn't match your color, you will be dazed. Now, 2 people will have the color for one add and the other 2 will have the color for the other add. So you need to DPS the adds, and as soon as you see the CC bars open, you need to use the correct CC skill to remove the damage reduction shield. Once the shield has dropped, other party members can help you to kill this add. If you see a red shield, you need to daze. If you see a green shield, you need to knock down. If you see a blue shield, you need to stun. If you see a purple shield, you need to block the add when he's charging. But remember, you need to wait for the CC bars to open. If the bars are not open, you cannot remove the shield. For the purple add, you need to wait for him to do the charge animation. If you're far away from him, he's going to charge at you, and that will not count as the charge to remove the shield. So keep that in mind, guys. Also, for the grouping, you can determine this by where you're standing at the start of the fight. So let's say you want to split the DPS between the 2 teams or split the CCs between the 2 teams. You can do that, and I will put a little note at the bottom. But for lower stage content, you don't need to do this. So when you kill the last add, there will be a smoke left behind. You need to get into this smoke and cleanse. By doing this, you will resist the boss stumps and you will be able to DPS during this animation. But if you didn't cleanse, you will be frozen or your character will be affected, and then you will die at the end of the stumps. So make sure to jump into that smoke and cleanse. Okay? So that is basically it for this boss. He will jump back to mid and spawn the adds again with different colors. You CC the adds when the CC bars are open with the corresponding color CC. And yeah, that's basically it. So let's go to the last boss. Now this boss requires a lot of teamwork, so everyone in your party needs to know the mechanics for this boss. So at the start of the fight, you want to use your breaker skills in order to burst him at the start to skip most of his annoying rotation. Once the boss hits 90%, he's going to reveal himself. This is where the mechanic starts. He's going to dash to the side and then he's going to inject someone with umbral energy. In other words, he's going to mark someone. Then he's going to proceed to grab someone and then mark them again, but only one person will be the mark. That person will maintain the mark after the grab. So if you have a red dot over your character, it means you are the mark. At this point, the boss will have 2 stacks of illusory vapor. You need to remove this in order to get the smoke screen that will protect you later. Now let me show you. After the boss does the grab, he's going to do a 4-hit attack. You need to block 2 out of the 4 attacks in order to remove the vapor. Once the vapor is removed, you will get the smoke screen. Now for the 4-hit attack, the boss will direct the first one at the tank, the second one at a random person, and the third one at a random person. And for the 4th one, he's going to end that on the mark. Now everyone needs to be standing together So the tank will be able to block the first, the second, and the third. The other two party members can block those, but on the fourth one, anybody in the party can block that as long as the boss is pointing in your direction. As the mark, you need to stay with your party and block the fourth hit. Once you block the fourth hit, the smoke screen will drop on your location. So if you're not with your party, the smoke screen will spawn somewhere else on the map, and you don't want that. After blocking the fourth hit, the mark needs to leave the smoke screen. He needs to backstep or go on the other side of the boss and DPS. The boss needs to see the mark only because he's going to shoot 4 spores at him, and he needs to get all 4 stacks in order for the mechs to go on. So if you're not the mark, don't attack the boss, stay in stealth. Then the boss will go to the middle. Now as the mark, if you collected all 4 spores, considering that no one else in the party attacked the boss, there will be an explosion on you, and this explosion needs to be shared with your party members. So that is why I say after you get the spores, you need to go to the center, and then everyone needs to stack up to get this explosion, and everyone on your team will get the flower buff. So here the real mark will have the red dot over their head, and he's gonna do the 4 hit. The tank needs to block the first one, and everyone in the party needs to block the fourth while staying together. Now if you did that successfully, the smoke will drop and the boss will shoot 4 spores. The marker needs to be outside of the smoke in order to get all 4 of these stacks. Then the boss will jump to mid and the 4 spores will explode on the mark. Now after this, the boss will grab the furthest person. If he grabs a person that doesn't have this explosion, he will wipe the party if you're on stage 4 or higher, or for lower stages, he will deal a lot of damage to the party, so make sure that you got the explosion. Now at this point, the boss will focus his attention on someone, and that person will not have a red dot over their head. So how will you know if you are the mark? Well, the mark screen will look watery like a wave effect over their screen, so this is how you know that you're the mark. Now the boss will dash to the side again, and this time he's going to grab anybody that is looking at him. If you are the mark, you need to face him. If you're not the mark, look away or else you will die or take big damage. So if you are the mark and you face him, this is where you're going to get the red icon over your head to indicate that you're the mark, and then you're going to do the same thing again. He's going to do 4 hit, and then you need to block the 4th one, and the tank needs to block the first one to get the smoke, and then the mark will DPS and the other party members will wait in stealth. Now I'm going to show you another POV of me not being the mark. So as you can see, I don't have the water effect on my screen, so I will turn around. He will do the grab at anyone that faces him, and then he's going to do the 4 hit attack. You need the tank to block the first one, and all the party members and the marker to block the 4th, and everyone should stay together. Then he's going to shoot 4 spores at the marker, and the marker needs to be outside of the smoke. Everyone else needs to hold DPS. Now this is where the mechanics changes up. Now the boss will dash to one of the 4 corners of the room. Now the mark will have a red AoE around him, but this time you don't want everyone in the red AoE. You just need one person to enter that AoE, and this is where you're going to try to bloom the flower. Now once you step inside, the flower timer will start and it will count up, and you can see the timer on the red AoE, and if someone tries to enter, the AoE will bounce them off and the timer will reset. Now the person that stepped inside the red AoE or the red ring you will now become the tank and the boss will start to fight you. Now you're going to try to stack up this purification buff. Now every second you're going to get 1 stack of purification, but every time you take a hit from the boss, this will be reduced. So guys, please pay attention. So as you can see, I entered the red AoE. I'm gonna put on my 5-second shield. If you have a party protect like a Blade Master Hongmoon block, this is the best time to use it because the boss is gonna do a red attack first, and then he's gonna do 4 yellow attacks. Okay, you can block the yellow attacks, and then he's gonna do 2 pizza attack. Now for the pizza attack, you need to bait this at the 2 dead corners of the room. So if you are the tank, the boss will do the pizza on the right side of your screen. So look at where I'm standing. So once he does the first pizza, I'm gonna go to the opposite side of him, and then he's gonna do it on the other dead end of the screen. If you don't remember, just look at where I'm standing and just try to mimic that. For the purification buff, you can see it there trying to stack up, but every time the boss hits me, it goes down. So please pay attention to that. The boss will do the 4 hit, and then he's gonna do the pizza. If you are the tank, he will do the pizza on the right side of your screen, and then he's gonna do it on the left side. But if you switch after the first pizza and go on the opposite side, he's gonna do it on the same side again. Okay, so just try to do that. So once the purification buff stacks up to 20, I will now become the mark, and I will have a red AoE under me, and someone else needs to enter this to bloom another flower. But you're not gonna do it just yet. You're gonna wait for the boss to dash to another corner of the room, and then you're gonna spawn the flower or bloom the flower there. But before we get into that, let's talk about cutting these smaller flowers around the room. Now, after I bloom the plant and I'm tanking the boss and baiting the pizzas, someone in the party needs to touch the big flower there, and they need to use the link that they got to cancel out the smaller flowers around the boss. The boss is going to absorb these, and he's going to heal and get a damage reduction, and you don't want that, okay? So one person needs to use that line and cut those flowers. Now he needs to try to avoid the pizza, because if the pizza touches him, he will die. Now this is very important to note. If you have the after effect debuff on your screen, you cannot stand in a red AoE to bloom a flower. So if you see someone standing with the red AoE and you don't have the after effect icon, you need to jump in and start to bloom the flower ASAP. Okay. Also, on the second time that you bloom a flower, you don't have to touch it to get the line to cancel out the flower. You need to stand close to each of the smaller flowers, and then the bigger one will shoot out AoEs that will cancel them for you. Now the boss will go to mid for the third bloom phase. Now let me explain something, guys. Now if you remember, the warlock was the first person to get the mark, and I step in to bloom the flower. I get to the purification buff, and then the forest master step into my AoE to bloom the flower. The forest master stack up the purification buff to 20, and now it's time for the astromancer to step inside. So as you can see, everyone is needed for the mechanics of this dungeon. So the Astromancer need to step inside the Forest Master's AoE in order to bloom a plant. Now I'm not sure for this phase if spawning or blooming the flower at the center is the best thing to do, but yeah, just try to get it as close to the center as possible. Once you get it there, what we need to do is we need to touch the flower, and this will give us the purification, and we need to touch all the mini flowers around the boss. Now every time you get hit by the pizza, it will cancel your purification buff, so you need to touch back the flower again. You need to lit up 15 of the mini flowers that is around the boss. Now it's very hard to see all of them, so make sure that you get all of them, guys. If you don't get all of them, the boss will have a shield that prevents you from CCing him or from dazing him. Now the boss has 15 stack of umbral defense. Now you're trying to purify the flower, and when he absorbs them, he's going to absorb the purified flower, and this is going to remove 1 stack of umbral defense per flower that is purified. So yeah, if he absorbs 15, he will lose all 15 stack of his shield. Now once he absorbs these, he's going to do a pull, and this will daze you, and you're gonna tab escape. So if you have at least 2 class in your party that tab escapes and it dazes anything close by, this will daze the boss, and then you need to grab, and then you need to nuke him. If you land the grab here, the boss will die instantly because you're gonna get a big debuff damage buff, okay? But if you don't grab, then you go into another phase where he does the stealth mechanics, and then you need to cut again. But this time you need 2 people to touch the plant at the same time to get the line to cut around the boss. So try to land the grab. Now guys, this dungeon is still pretty new, so I'm not familiar with the names and the buff and all that and the icons. If I made a mistake, do correct me in the comment section of this video, and I will pin your comment. So that's it for the guide, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you want to see more content like this, like, share, and subscribe. Hit that bell icon to stay updated on when I post new videos. Goodbye.